Hey everyone, my name is Fallout, and today we are here to talk about the weapon mod Icarus Grip, because of f***ing course we are. I've only spent about maybe 1 out of every 3 videos on this channel ranting about how much I hate anything and everything, even remotely associated with RNG, and the minute I ask you what mod you want me to cover next, of course y'all go straight for the throat. Oh, do Icarus Grip, Fallout? Because the only thing more fun than measuring a shotgun pellet spread is doing it while you're in the air. You know something? If I was walking on a beach and found a magic lamp in the sand and a giant coked out blue genie appeared and gave me 3 wishes, my first wish would be to eliminate any and all RNG from all of my favorite video games. My second wish would be to then bring all the RNG back into those games, just so I could use my third wish to once again eliminate it all a second time, so I could experience the joy of watching all RNG related mechanics get eradicated 2 times. RNG is the devil's pawn. It makes testing things hard, really hard. Harder than peanut butter left in a cold fridge. And today we've got a little bit of that to deal with. Fortunately, at the end of the day, it wasn't nearly as bad as I was expecting. But geez, could we please get more mechanics in this game that are not tied to invisible dice rolls? Anyway, here's the deal. If you were unaware, aerial accuracy in Destiny 2 is laughably bad, for the most part. What I mean by that is, if you decide to shoot your gun while you're either jumping or just not on the ground, your bullet isn't guaranteed to go where you're aiming your gun. Remember my video that talked about what bloom is, and how the more you shoot, the wider your reticle gets, and when your reticle is super wide, the bullet could go anywhere within the cone? That's kinda how it goes when you jump in the air. Take a look here. Equipped with the Austringer hand cannon, each time I jump into the air, the reticle widens by a lot. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, that's hipfire, and that's not always designed to be accurate, right? True. So let's take a look at a more hilariously terrible example and grab literally any sniper out of the vault and fire it while in the air. Here's one, the Dread Adventure. Now, it's kinda hard to tell at what point I squeeze the trigger when I'm jumping, and because this thing kicks with the power of 1,000 suns, it's also hard to tell just how far away the bullet landed from my crosshair when I pulled the trigger. Yeah, that's where screenshotting becomes really handy, so get ready, you are going to see a lot of that in this video. That and side-by-side views. So, check it out. The left is 1 frame before the bullet fired out of my gun, and the right side is where on the wall the bullet hit. Good lord. Like I said, firing a weapon in the air in Destiny is a coin toss. Here's another example. Left is the bullet 1 frame before firing, again, and right is where the bullet hit the wall. RNG, take the wheel, baby. But, due to the nature of RNG, that doesn't mean that every shot is always going to miss that badly. Sometimes, bullets can come extremely close to the mark. You just gotta get lucky. Like here, for example. Same sniper, literally 1 shot later, the bullet was just inches from where I was aiming at the wall while in the air. I hate to use this word, but shooting in the air is, well, inconsistent. Enter the Icarus Grip weapon mod. Slap this bad boy on your weapon and what does it do? Improves accuracy while airborne. But by how much though? Good question, YouTube viewer with the same voice as me. Let's go back to the Dread Adventures, since that's what we started with. I applied an Icarus Grip mod just for all of you, then did another jump shot test, firing 3 more shots at the wall in the firing range. Here's the deal. Icarus does not give your weapon perfect laser beam accuracy. There were still times when the shot I fired was noticeably off target. That being said, there was no one time when my shot was wildly off target by miles, like what happened before I had the Icarus Grip applied. Sure, I didn't get any perfect bullseyes with the Dread Adventure, but it was pretty close each and every time. Remember, RNG is still a factor, but it seems like you definitely have a tighter firing cone in the air thanks to Icarus. Alright, different gun. How about the Gnora's Axe? I definitely wouldn't be able to get away with doing a vid on a weapon perk, but only trying it out with 1 weapon archetype. Oh, and here's something annoying. Unlike the sniper testing, the Gnora's Axe on console is pretty big and bulky, and when you shoot it, the gun kicks up so hard that the gun blocks the entire screen and you can't see where the friggin' shot hits until you land. But by then I don't know where I was aiming the friggin' gun in the first place because I'm not in the air anymore. It's really hard seeing the bullet hit the wall while you're in the air with this gun. Damn it, get the hell out of the way. Damn gun. In order to get around this, I jumped up and picked a spot on the wall where I would aim my shot. Then, after jumping and firing at that spot, I jumped up again after I'd shot the wall. That way I would have the bullet hole in frame with no violent camera shaking via the gun, so you could see a cleaner before and after of the shot. And why am I telling you all of this?
I just wanted you to know how hard it was.
So here is the Gnora's axe. Before I put Icarus grip on, the bullet placement had a really wide landing area. After all, look at all that reticle size. It's huge. I even did some ADS shooting in the air and it wasn't much better. Look, I'm trying to aim right there on that little black line on the wall, and almost every time it was a huge miss. There was one time where the shot was pretty on target, but again, that is RNG hard at work. Alright, so then we put on an Icarus grip mod, and man, the difference was pretty noticeable here. For aerial hip firing, all 3 shots were almost at the dead center of the reticle. The size of the reticle on my HUD didn't change though, which is kind of weird, more on that later, but again, all 3 shots were really on target. For aerial ADS testing, again, not laser beam accurate, but look at how close all 3 of these shots were. Way closer than any of the ADS shots I took without Icarus grip. All 3 so close to where I was aiming that if this was done in PvP on an actual enemy guardian, I can almost 100% guarantee that they would all register as headshots. For the sake of variety, we also gotta check out a hand cannon. I had an Austringer handy and decided to go with that. Now, there's something I really have to mention here. It's about the size and shape of the reticle. As I pointed out earlier, jumping with the Austringer widens your reticle on the HUD. Makes sense. Once I put on the Icarus grip mod though, check this out. Jumping visually shrinks the reticle. What the F? Why didn't that happen on the Gnora's axe? Oh well. The testing on the Austringer went as expected. Without Icarus, the shots were in the ballpark of the in-air reticle, but spread out via RNG, as always. I found out that aiming the Austringer while in the air seemed to have naturally way more initial accuracy than the Gnora's axe. Most shots were pretty close to the mark. Putting on an Icarus grip made it even tighter though, especially when I was ADSing the weapon. ADSing with the Austringer with Icarus, almost every shot I fired was essentially right on where I aimed it. Not bad. This brings me to probably my main takeaway regarding Icarus grip. Some weapons benefit from Icarus more than others. But which ones though, Fallout? Which ones need it the most? Excellent question, friendo, but I'll be damned if I'm going to go through my vault and test out an IG mod on each and every weapon in there. I want to go outdoors and remember what sunlight feels like. With some weapons though, it's pretty apparent that they don't need it as much. One such weapon is the Trust hand cannon. Here's 2 jumping ADS shots with the Trust. Both bullets, damn, really close to the mark. That is without the Icarus mod applied, by the way. I'm sure the Trust could benefit a hair from applying Icarus, but why bother? Compare earlier with a gun like the Dread Adventure, who would probably do unspeakable things in an alley in order to get just a hit of that sweet Icarus goodness. It probably has something to do with the fact that Trust is a member of the precision hand cannon family and has extremely minimal recoil per shot, which may also factor into in-air accuracy. Again, some weapons benefit from Icarus more than others. And finally, because if I don't do this, the comment section would be littered with, but what about shotguns? So, just for you, a shotgun. And not just a slug shotgun, a real shotgun. I wanted to test on a gun that people actually use. So we brought out the OG, the Stallion, the QP Troublemaker, the Dust Rock Blues. Even though I was dreading the combination of both the inconsistency of shooting guns in the air and the inconsistency of shotgun pellet spreads, this wasn't actually that bad. It's clear that firing the regular dust rock in the air, the pellets can randomly stray far off from the reticle, but at the very least, they do all stay together in a circle. It was pretty easy to tell when a shot was off due to bad aerial RNG. Same thing with ADSing. There were times when the pellet spread was exactly what you would want it to be. Everything right where it should be within the crosshair. And other times, yeesh. I'll tell you one thing, if you were in PvP and you got that pellet spread on an enemy, you wouldn't land 100% of your pellets on that enemy, which could mean the difference between living and dying in a gunfight, which could lead to you getting embarrassed and teabagged by a 12-year-old. And who wants that? Here is the Dust Rock Blues with Icarus Grip. Now these are the pellet spreads that you want. Each time, much more center. No situations with wild pellets trying to jailbreak out of your reticle. Really cements my decision to have Icarus be my go-to mod for the Dust Rock in PvP. To be honest, it all depends on how much you use weapons while in the air. Some weapons, like shotguns, you can get away with using in the air for the most part because they fire a ton of pellets and it's not an all or nothing type situation. Snipers, I mean, if you're trying to make a dank montage, bruh, go for it. I think it's pretty clear that Icarus is definitely doing its job. Actually, much better than I thought it was. It won't give you laser perfect accuracy for every weapon you apply it to. Its main purpose is to reduce the chance of wild shots at the worst, and can make your weapon pretty dang accurate at its best. Remember, some weapons benefit more from Icarus than others. To really know for sure which ones, go to the firing range on Nessus and do some fiddling on your own. At the end of the day, I doubt there's any weapon that wouldn't benefit from Icarus, but it all depends on how much time you spend in the air. Man, I gotta upload some fun gameplay and commentary vids on this channel pretty soon. I need social interaction. If I spend any more time in this firing range, I'm gonna start talking to the holographic Dreg. His name is Peter, and he's really into movies, but that's neither here nor there. If you have any loadout suggestions you want to see me run with, let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's content, please do me a favor and click the subscribe button and help me in my never-ending quest to eventually achieve global domination via the YouTube directory. Don't worry, I promise I'll use my powers for good. Also, be sure to check me out on Twitch, because if I had a nickel for every time someone came into my Twitch chat and said, "Whoa, you stream too?" I would probably be able to retire by now. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you learned something. See you next time.